majority of people too that are hounding me, case and bring them, is all for one reason. They say they are not feeling the loot, the recovery, the loot we have felt.
I thought you said they don't feel the loot. I said, thank God, there's no looting.
No, they are not feeling the recovery.
The recovery.
It's like they felt the loot. They've been told about the loot. The loot was almost a campaign issue.
We'll launch an Operation Recover All the Loot to investigate, prosecute, and recover the proceeds of corruption. To investigate, prosecute, and recover the proceeds of corruption, no person found culpable will be spared.
And now they are not feeling the recovery. And that's why they wanted you here. So I'm glad you're here. Please, Ghanaians are watching you that Masa Domelevo Pacho, you feel recovery, no?
Yes, you feel it. You see, the truth of the matter is that the process is a very slow and very tedious one. A lot of work is going on at the various institutions, from the Attorney General, Yoko, OSP, the police, etc. They are all involved in this. But like they say, the wheel of justice grinds very slowly. And to you and me, our dislike anyway, is that not it? We want things like this, not slowly that way. So if you follow the briefing that the Attorney General has been given, a lot of work is going on. Will you ask, are you satisfied? I'll say no, I am not satisfied. I am not satisfied, not because I expect that people will have been jailed by now or the monies will have been recovered by now, because I know it's a gradual process. It takes a long time. But there are some basics that must be in place to give us the assurance that we are going to win this war. Those basics, I'm not seeing them. What are those basics? One, the legal framework. It has remained largely the same. And you see, if you are going to fight corruption, and you must prove beyond reasonable doubt that the person stole money. Corruption is not done in the opening. It's not like murder, stealing, etc. that there are a lot of aggrieved persons and evidence for you to establish. Corruption is also not done by people who are as daft as me. It's very intellectual people who understand the process, who know how to use it without leaving even audit trail, who normally get themselves involved in these corrupt practices. So one will have expected that one of the quickest or the earliest legislation which will have come into place is what we call the reversed burden. Once we can establish that this vehicle or this house belongs to Daniel, and Daniel, you are a public office holder, your salary per month is 50,000. Let's assume that you save half of that every month, 25,000. It can't buy this vehicle, not to talk about the house. So now the onus now move to you to prove beyond reasonable doubt that you didn't steal public funds. That is what we are not feeling. That legal framework, which even the Constitution implies under Article 286. If you read clause 4 of Article 286, which is Assets and Liabilities Declaration, it says that between your first declaration or your previous declaration and the subsequent one, if the growth in your assets or properties the growth is not commensurate with your sources of income, then we can assume that you earn that income or that asset illegally. So we expect, or I expect by now, that the Attorney General, as a matter of urgency, will have gone to the Parliament to pass a law to say, look, we can't put the proof of guilt in corruption at the same level as all other crimes like theft, murder, etc. Where at times you can see the dead body is there. We all saw you cutting him or etc. So we can prove it. But this one is white collar crime. It is difficult. So once it can be established that you have assets which cannot be explained, what we call unexplained wealth, then it means you are guilty of something. That is one. Two, the law should make it unattractive for people to engage in corruption. If you follow the news about 2 weeks ago, not up to even 2 weeks, I think, ago, the former Minister of Agric of China was found guilty of collecting bribe and awarding contracts, etc., to the tune of about $38 million. What did they do? The most impressive thing about it is that the trial was within 3 months or so. In Ghana, this will have remained in court for God knows how long. At times, some of the cases, until Jesus comes, they are never going to finish. Within 3 months or 4, they had finished the trial. That is one of the things I thought the attorney general should do. Put a time limit to the court and say, look, from the day you start.
Very quick question.
Yeah.
Since that hasn't been done,
yes,
we don't have anything that will actually speed up the process, and we're going through the same business as usual. That's what Ghanaians are worried about, because they're asking, so by the end of 4 years, how many cases could have been recovered
at this rate? That is exactly my worry also. In fact, that's why I said, if you ask me, am I satisfied? I said, no, I'm not satisfied, because I can't see the end of the tunnel, not to talk about the light at the end of the tunnel. I can't even see it. I don't even see the end of the tunnel before the light, because I know this may continue until there's a change. In fact, the prayer of the corporates and their lawyers is that there should be a change in government. Then you hear nolli prosequa and etc., and our money is gone. Okay, so I expect that this should be in place by now, so that the court will be told that, look, corruption cases, 6 months maximum, you must finish it.
Thank you.
If you listen to me to the end of the Chinese one, when the gentleman was found guilty, he was sentenced to death. He was sentenced to death, and then they give him a reprieve to say, look, gentleman, you have 2 years. If you want to leave, refund not just the 38 million, but all your assets, give it to us, because we assume you stole all of them, so we will take all your assets. But if after 2 years you realize that you have not done that, you go and sentence you or and kill you or whatever they will do to you to take your life. So that is when they are making corruption unattractive. Unless it is like kid glove, you are treating people with kid gloves, and we don't even want to call it theft. It is only when somebody takes $2 Ghana cedis or 10 Ghana cedis from somebody's shop or in the house. Oh, it's a thief. But these big ones who are still, we don't even want to call it theft. We say misappropriation and whatnot.
Leakages.
Yes.
There are some leakages there.
Exactly. So that is my worry. Let me be honest with you. I would have expected that again the Attorney General will have gone to the Parliament with a bill which will have also addressed the capacity of the courts by now. He mentioned it, but I thought 9 months is a long time. He says he's going to submit this to, I think, cabinet, then to Parliament to activate the tribunals and etc. I said 9 months. Sorry for crying aloud, but 9 months gone. We knew this problem when you were in opposition. So immediately you hit the road, you must start running. So by now we should have those tribunals and special courts activated. And then you talk to the Chief Justice. If there is one institution which should work 24/7, is the judiciary. We need justice. They claim justice delayed is justice denied. So why can't we go and listen to the judge after 6 o'clock? Why can't we go to court at maybe 1 a.m. and the trial goes on? Now, if you go to court, at times the lawyer speaks for 5 minutes, then they adjourn the case for the next 6 months or 3 months or whatever it is. But if we increase the capacity of the court, that is, allow Chief Justice to recruit more judges, even including part-time judges, because there are so many lawyers. Some of them can be part-time judges, okay, so that we can hear these cases with speed. And when we do that, I expect the law now to take so many of the discretions away, where the judge will just slap you on the back and say you go and say no more. No, once we have embezzled or stolen public funds, we should not be talking about recovering 100%. I don't know, I heard 60%. I don't know whether the Attorney General meant collecting the 100% plus 60 or only 60%.
60 and they're happy.
If it is only 60, then my brother, what it means is that you and I can come together, go and steal about 100 billion. When they catch us, we give them 60 billion and we keep 40 billion. We'll be quite good, isn't it? I think that what we should do at the minimum, and anybody who is an auditor or investigator like me knows that whatever we discover is just a small fraction of the whole thing. Your investigation can never reveal everything. Therefore, the minimum you should get is the total you are able to identify plus something. The minimum should be above what you have discovered, but not below what you have discovered. So if Attorney General actually exercise discretion to put that 60%, then my dear brother is no, I disagree with him. It should not be the case. So if these things were to be in place, then the final thing that I was expecting, the criminal process again is a very slow one. And I suggested, even it is in our report, the oral report, that most of the cases require auditing because they relate to procurement and etc. They should pack all of them and give them to the Auditor General. And under Clause 8, Article 187, it says the President in the national interest can ask the Auditor General to conduct audit. So they can activate that clause of the Constitution and ask the Auditor General, do this audit. Do you know the advantage there? The Auditor General under Clause 7 of the 187 has the mandate to disallow the expenditures and surcharge. So he said, look, Mr. KSM, you didn't follow the procurement rules. You didn't do the right thing. So I've disallowed, I've surcharged. It becomes a judgment debt, more or less. So Attorney General, all that he needs to do to file a civil proceedings at the court to collect the money. That would have been faster for us. We will not be talking about 1 year. We will not be talking about even 6 months. But the procedure that Attorney General currently is using is going to be very difficult because the law is going, the criminal process is going to take a long time. And even when we win the case, that is, the judge rules in the state's favor that Daniel stole the money, collecting the money also is another case. I hope you heard of the Wyoming's case. Did you hear the end of it? Do you know whether it has been fully recovered or not? So there's a Supreme Court saying that pay so much to the state. It's okay, I'll pay, but I have only this for you. Then they'll say, we will sell this. They say, okay, I have this for you. So I think there's a quicker route. These are desperate times and desperate situations need desperate solutions. Yeah. We must not act as usual.
Yeah.
Thank
and talking about this whole thing, this business as usual attitude, here's something that's a prevailing thought. Rightly or wrongly, they say, oh, now you don't know politicians. They're all the same. They probably have cut some backdoor deals, and this whole delay is intentional. Is it possible that there's some intentionality involved, or is just the speed of the law, the slowly grinding speed? And why would he even choose to allow that slow grinding speed into something that we are treating as urgent?
That exactly is what most of us don't understand. We are yet to appreciate or understand, because we know that if we follow the laid down procedure or protocol, we may not get any results at all. We may even find it difficult to get 1% of the looted money, not to talk about 10% of the looted
1%.
money. 1% may be very difficult, because the longer the process takes, the more the chance and opportunity to maneuver and put water under the bridge and do a whole lot of things. That's why I was commending the Chinese trial. Within 3 months they are done. So it's watertight and people are watching. Some of the cases we have even forgotten about them because it has been there for too long. Later on that you hear that, oh, it has been ruled upon, and you didn't forget the case that they are talking about. So we can't be operating in the same way and be expecting different results. The way the president and his team hid corruption and said they are going to recover.
We'll launch an Operation Recover All the Loot to investigate, prosecute, and recover the proceeds of corruption. To investigate, prosecute, and recover the proceeds of corruption, no person found culpable will be spared.
I expected that once they came into power, for instance, internal auditing. Today, internal auditing remains still largely the same. Internal auditing is very key to preventing corruption, because these are professionals who review the transaction, and before you make payment, will say no, it's not in line with the rules or the laws. So that is preventive. But these guys are not independent, and they are unable to check the MDAs because they are under the spending officer. So we have been calling for amending this law to make the internal auditors independent of the spending officer. And today, even if when you go to the private sector in corporate practice, some corporate institutions outsource their internal auditing to even the S&P Youngs and the PAP, Pricewaterhouse, etc. So internal auditor does not necessarily must be your staff. It can be an external person. So to ensure that the internal auditor is effective, his appointment, promotion, transfer, salary, etc. should not be the duty of the very person he is policing. Otherwise, you compromise him or her. We have said this over and over. I think a bill can go to Parliament quickly, and this should have been done. 9 months. 9 months is not small, my brother. We are, before we realize, we have finished the quarter of the term of President Mahama. So I think we have to change the speed at which we are moving, and let people gain the confidence that things are moving and moving very fast. It begs one question. Does it mean they didn't prepare before coming to office? Or they were not ready for winning the election? If they were ready for election, I thought they should have planned all these things. So once they come to office, it will be like
hit the ground running. Everything is in place.
Exactly. If there's any frustration of mine, that is what I have. The speed at which things are being done is as if everything is normal.
It's quite interesting that everybody wanted me to get Domelevo so that you can explain to us, perhaps maybe curtail our worry that this is being done. But you are here and you're actually feeling the same thing that they are feeling. The things are kind of slow.
We are on the same boat, man. We are on the same boat. I feel exactly what they feel. In fact, I don't know if my feeling is even more than theirs. Because when I look at the quantum of money that we should recover and the speed, the snail speed at which we are moving, I'm like, when are we going to get there? We may not get there. So I am pleading with the Minister of Finance, I'm pleading with the President, I'm pleading with the Attorney General. They should change the modus operandi. We should change it. We can't be business as usual. Let's move. Let's get to the judiciary and tell them we need more courts. Sorry, why do we have a room which is used only 8 hours in 24 hours a day?
That's a good question.
So when you have finished your term, after 8 hours, go. He comes in, another 8 hours, then I come in 8 hours. It means we have increased the capacity of the judiciary 3 times.
So, folks, basically, the 24-hour economy should start with the judiciary.
Exactly.
The judiciary should be operating 24 hours around the clock. Trying these cases, let's move it.
Except that they are not serious telling us that justice delayed, justice denied. They have been telling us that if they really mean it, then I think they should think outside the box. They would say that, where are we going to get the personnel? There are several lawyers in Ghana. Some don't even get cases to handle. They should recruit them either full-time or part-time and put them into the courtrooms. Even lay people are at times engaged as magistrates, is that not it? So we can do that to address the issue.
And then the court should run 24 hours. You know, you can't.
And not only 24 hours, but with time limit. That within 3 months or 6 months, you must finish the case. In fact, we should legislate that to stop this issue of appeal. Wait, when we finish the verdict, you can appeal all the things that you think were not right. But they use appeals to delay the process. Because you say is, you say no, it should not be is, it should be was. You say no, it is. Then okay, let's appeal. Then we go to court and say, this grammar, can you correct it for us? Court of Appeal say no, we think it is. You say no, it's not good. Let's go to, we are going to Supreme Court. So at times you see,
so that can stall the whole procedure.
Of course, for several months. Oh yes, at times it can even go a year. In fact, one of the judges who is my friend told me that somebody asked for adjournment of a case which was before him for 2 weeks, and he said no, it's too long. I'm not going to grant 2 weeks. I'm giving you 2 days. We meet again. And the person appealed. It took 2 years before it was held. So instead of 2 weeks adjournment, it became 2 years. So yes, you have concerns with the procedures and issues. Keep it. When the verdict comes out, you put all together and appeal. But at least we will have finished the first stage and go to the next stage so that we address all of them. Because one case, there can be several appeals, which waste our time. Not only in corruption cases, but almost all criminal cases. But for corruption in particular, it is a unique type of thing. So I am appealing that we should look at the discretion that we give to the judges too much. And doesn't it hurt you, KSM, when you hear, for instance, a gentleman who put on military camouflage was convicted, sentenced to pay 600 Ghana cedis, not 6,000, 600 Ghana cedis. He didn't get it. He went 3 months to prison. 3 months. Then somebody who takes billions of our money, the case go on and on and on and on and on. He said that bail, no bail, etc. And it doesn't. So we are in the same boat. And I think those who are in leadership, especially the president and the minister, they should understand us. That they are there to serve us. They are not there to serve themselves. And this is what we, the people, we think. Is that it is like business as usual. And if it is business as usual, then we are never going to get there. We must have to change and make significant change. Said that there will be lifestyle audit, a reversal of burden, internal auditing, external audit, etc. They all come in, and then we can all be happy that, oh, we are getting somewhere.
I'm looking at the situation, and I want to ask you, and I think I asked one of my guests who came here recently, like, let's say, in the interest of achieving everything that you have talked about, so the government needs to put together, I don't know what, special courts, special tribunals, certain things that will speed up the things. What do you think, because we are so now obsessed with our democracy and constitutional things, what do you think, let's say, for example, the Ghana Bar Association, would they object to such fast tracking of issues and say it's not constitutional, or will they be embraced? And how does the government handle that? Something like, let's put in place special tribunals to deal with this thing without so-called offending what the Constitution says.
First and foremost, I find it difficult to hold people accountable for perceived offense, an offense which has not been committed. Okay. They have not shown any objection as far as I am concerned. But I don't think the Bar Association will be against this, because I've spoken to several lawyers and they think it is a good thing for them. In fact, they will get more market, because there are so many cases that will now be run. You remember the Attorney General will go to court with maybe 2, 3, 4, maximum 10 dockets at a time, because they must manage it. But when we do what we are talking about, he has to go to court with maybe about 100 dockets in different courts. What that means is that he needs more lawyers to be prosecutors. We need more lawyers to go on the bench also to hear the case. So it's a job opportunity for the Bar Association. So they will be shooting themselves in the foot if they don't agree with this type of recommendation. And one of the things which also bothers me, in fact, to be honest with you, I have to say it, is this so-called legal vacation. At a point in time, they go on vacation. Yeah. Why don't we do that to the medicals? So the doctors and nurses, they all go on vacation for vacation. 2 or 3 months. Yeah. We all die before they come back. It's not right. I agree that every public servant or worker is entitled to leave. So we manage is that as you are resting, the 2 of us are working. By the time you come, he goes, and that's it. So the court should work throughout the year. This legal vacation, which I am told was given to us by our colonial masters, because the judges came from England. And so they have
need to take a break and go
back home. Now the judges are here and they are still taking the break. I did a small research yesterday to find out how many countries are doing this. You may Google it yourself. You may find out up to 5 countries, and Ghana is very prominent. Ghana, India, and another country are the first 3. Then they say US and UK also have some variants of it and etc., but not like that of Ghana. So out of over 170 something countries, It's only Ghana and about three or four who do this, and we must leave it.
Yeah, we're going on the legal vacation.
Legal vacation.
No activity related to justice, courts, and they all come to a stop.
Well, they don't stop totally. There are some courts which are still in session for what they call urgent issues. But that must not happen. Can we say that we are closing down the whole hospital? There's one doctor on duty because we are going on medical vacation? I don't think it makes sense.
So folks, you are hearing it here, and please, whoever is responsible to help agitate this platform will start though. This whole idea of a legal vacation where important things must come to a stop to wait for the vacation to be over. It's absolutely, thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's one of the things it has not occurred to. In fact, I had a discussion where one of my friends was saying, "Oh, it's done all over the world." That's why I went to research. I went and Google and I said, I saw even send the results to him that we have more than 170 countries. Ghana plus 2 or 3 others are doing this. So don't be proud about it. And even if we are all doing the stupid thing, can't we stop?
Can't we stop?
Can't we decide to stop?
Yeah. So here's a question. At the rate at which the slow pace of the recovery is going, and also understanding that certain things that should have been put in place to help speed up the process hasn't been done, in reality, what should we look forward to?
We should look for a change in the modus operandi.
I'm saying since that hasn't changed,
we have to push for that to change to come. Otherwise, we are not going to get the results. I've said it time and again that if you continue doing the same thing, you get the same results. If the government is going to use the status quo or the same modus operandi, then we should forget it, because it's going to be like how cases, you remember how some cases were in court for more than 4 years, and there's a change in government now, and government say, I'm no more interested, and some of them not prosecute, etc. Then that's the same thing which is going to happen to us. We don't want that. We want them to bring finality to these cases. So they should change the legal framework. They should change the judiciary, the way the judiciary work. They should empower and give resources to the anti-corruption agencies like YOCO, OSP, etc. So they do the investigation quickly, including Auditor General, of course, do the investigation quickly, and several cases. If you hear the statistics, at times I'm like, you're not serious. They'll tell you that, about 100 and something dockets have been prepared and they are prosecuting. I said, this is not enough. We don't want you to prosecute some. We want you to prosecute all of them. And again, the fact that you are pursuing the criminal side should not stop the civil aspect of it. So the Auditor General can take the civil side, which is faster. In fact, as for the Auditor General one, within a month, the audit will be completed and surcharge issued. Okay, so and the section 17 of the Audit Service Act provides that when you receive your surcharge certificate and you don't challenge it after 60 days, 2 weeks, then the amount is due. You have to pay. So all that we do is the Attorney General go to court and say, now Daniel is owing this amount per the certificate which he didn't challenge, and that is all. And that would have been in fact, if we had gone that approach, by now we will have seen monies recovered. We will have seen monies recovered by now. But lawyers like accountants, they confuse consistency with dogmatism. Many accountants do dogmatism because they think they ought to be consistent. But the concept is that you continue applying the same rules until the need for change arises. But they turn consistency into dogmatism. It's a dogma. So this is how it is done in court, and that is all they do. So we should think outside the box and do things quite quickly. And of course, I agree with the plea bargain, where somebody agrees that you want to return the money.
But anyone familiar with the plea negotiations would agree that it is rare to go into the negotiation room and come out without giving up something in order to clinch a deal. It will be very illusionary for anyone to think that the Attorney General or the Republic can recover 100% in every case.
If he or she agrees to return the money, Sorry for crying aloud. He should return everything plus something. He should not return a fraction or a percentage. It doesn't make sense to me that you can even take 10 million from a company, 2 years down the line, you return the 10 million. Does it make sense?
No.
Then it means you don't even know value for money. The value of the city today is different from what it was
when
3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
So if the person is ready to do a plea bargain, 100% plus a percentage, we should never agree that you pay 90% or 20%. No. It's not all.
A friend of mine was talking about, so now let's say somebody has gone and he has stolen 2 goats.
Yes.
In somewhere in the village,
And say I return
2
one.
goats.
Yes.
And he's been arrested, and he goes and says, "Okay, let me return one and keep one, and that's okay."
Yes. That's oh no, maybe he's not very generous. 3 goats.
You tell,
So he
okay.
say, I'll return to you, let me keep one at least. And that settles it. No, we should not. We are
But
joking.
that the original idea of plea bargain, I know when I was in the US, there were a lot of plea bargains that I experienced or heard of. The mobsters, when one had been arrested and was going to go to jail, maybe he would plea bargain and bring in a whole lot of others.
Yeah.
So that the jail term will be reduced from maybe 10 to 1. But not that he goes free because in the sense of the others he's reported. What's our plea bargain working like in Ghana? Like you can plea bargain because I've heard it that the doors are now open. You can go and sit down with the Attorney General and plea bargain and decide how much you pay, how much you keep.
Our plea bargain statute captures that succinctly, as it contemplates that the Attorney General may even go to the extent of dropping charges in exchange for restitution. Also, under the Costs Act 1993, Act 459, an accused may plead guilty to a charge or charges and pay restitution where the offense involves harm to the property of the Republic, including financial resources. In that case, the accused is to be handed a non-custodial sentence. As the Attorney General, I will not oppose the use of Section 35 of the Costs Act to achieve the purposes of oral.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, there are 2 types where you and the Attorney General, you can get into that settlement agreement to say, look, drop the case and I will pay X amount of money. If that is agreed, then that ends it. But the judicial one is very important. The one where we go to court and then tell the court we are going to do a plea bargain, which means whatever you agree upon, you bring it back to the court for it to be entered as judgment. But if it is being done outside the court, I don't see the merit in that, because in the future, Daniel is going to argue that I didn't commit any crime. I just gave you money because you were harassing me. But if it is entered as a judgment, I think that is necessary. And of course, like the president and his those who were campaigning with him said, we didn't say we were only going to recover. We said we are going to recover the loot and jail or prosecute the people.
We will launch an operation Recover All the Loot to investigate, prosecute, and recover the proceeds of corruption. To investigate, prosecute, and recover the proceeds of corruption, no person found culpable will be spared. But let me say that the sword of accountability will cut both ways, against both past and the present government.
So we need the prosecution also because we need deterrence. People should not, you see, if there is no consequence or dire consequence or unattractiveness introduced into the system, people will gamble with our money. If all that you can do to me is to recover what I stole, then I'll continue stealing. You catch me, I say, take this one. And like I said earlier on, no investigator can tell me that his investigation uncovered everything. No, you can't find it. You can find what you found, but the total may be more than that. Therefore, I think the deterrence is very important. We must make corruption unattractive. The sentencing should be that people will not like to go into it. Not that I want them to be put into life imprisonment. Okay, but the Chinese model is very nice. Daniel, you stole 5 million. We collect our 5 million plus all your houses and your cars and everything. Because we assume that's how you got all of them. We reduce you to ordinary person on the street. So everybody knows this rich man now, even bicycle, he doesn't have it. Okay? So we introduce deterrence into the system. But when it is a situation where you can even, lose the case, and even collecting the money becomes a challenge. I think we are not serious. So we need to do those things so that we can give courage to the people or hope to the people that we are going to win this war.
What's your assessment now? Are we going to win the war? Does it look like we win the war?
Yeah, they are listening.
Unless we make those changes, can we win?
If we don't make those changes, let's forget it. It is going to be business as usual.
If we don't make the changes, let's forget it.
No, I don't believe. I won't believe anybody who tells me that we are going to win without those changes. We need to change the legal framework. And let me be blunt here. If government refuses to do these changes, it only tells me that either they are also doing the same thing, they are also stealing, or they have intention of stealing. That is the only motivation which will stop you from doing these things, which brings about quick win. I hope you understand me.
I understand.
If we say that, let's set a trap here for the thief, and you don't want us to set the trap, then it's either you are the thief or you also be a thief. That's why we don't want the trap over there. So if government wants us to trust them to say, look, this administration is clean, we are not going to do the same thing that we are accusing other people of, then they should put in place the systems that will address them. You see, when we put systems in place, you see, we should not do things on personal grounds. It brings about good behavior. And I've said time and again that where we have found ourselves as a country is because there are no consequences for misbehavior. It's the same with galamsey and etc. Or everything. Ghana, you can get away with murder. It is not right. We should change it. I'll give you an example of a friend of mine, my late friend, may he rest in peace. He's called Nana Boating. The two of us traveled from here to London. He picked me from my house because he was somewhere. He went to see somebody at Sakumono side and picked me from my house. And we went to the airport. He gave the car to his driver to go home. We flew to Heathrow Airport. The next morning, his sister came and met us and gave him the key to say that, oh, she is going somewhere, so she will not be able to go with that, so he should drive. After driving for about 20 minutes, I asked him, Nana, what has changed? And he said, why? I said, Nana, the way you were driving yesterday is very different from this morning. If you were driving the way you were driving yesterday, we would have gotten about 10 cops already. But now you even stop and smiling at the pedestrians, taking time for them to pass. So what has changed? Then he said the system. The system. So that's the answer. Ghana, the problem we have is that we don't put systems in place. Interestingly, I asked him, so why Ghana, we can't do that? So Ghana, all that you need to say, do you know me? I am the son of or uncle of so and so, and that's it. And that's I said, let's try. Why don't we try it here? He said, hey, you've been bigger trouble. Even once they know you belong to a bigger class or a higher class, your case is even worse. So we should try and remove persons out of our processes and put systems that don't respect people in place. I think that is how we can go.
You've reminded me of another story I want to tell. Okay. You know, when I was stopped by some young cops, you know, police checks, you know, so they pulled me and I stopped. So they rushed the car to say, oh, get them. Oh, please go. I said, oh.
That's all.
You stopped me for something. So I started to lecture them. I said, listen, this is what is ruling Ghana. If you have to check my license, do go ahead and check whatever you have to check.
Exactly.
If you have to arrest me, arrest me. He says, hey, Kesem, but if I take you to the station, my commander will punish me. You know. So that's the system we're dealing with. That certain people are supposed to be excluded.
They are above the law.
They are above the law.
The law is for some people.
Yes.
No. We can't run a society like that.
And unfortunately, that's it. I was all this fight against Galam saying that you see somebody who has a TikTok. Hey, you think I saw Galam say, come here, we'll kill you. But freely on TikTok.
Yes.
And so I went to me. Oh, buy a dime for Mobile day. I have a banana. Money, money. We are going to have a cool soup. Wouldn't get a chairman. Lord, the armor. Why? I come out for retire. Yes, I
That's the kind of country we are running.
Yes. Why would he not do that?
Why?
Because he knows he has somebody who is up there, who is his godfather. He's the one who is supplying the, what do you call them, the earth moving machine, what do you call it?
The excavators. Whatever they call it.
Yes, he's providing the excavators. How many of those guys know how cyanide and mercury is important to the country? Do they even know where it is supposed to be made? So it's the big man in air conditioning office. It's not, the problem is not down there. I said always that it storms at the top and drizzles at the bottom. So if you don't want the drizzling, take off the tap at the top. It will stop, because these guys can never ever import these excavators. They cannot import cyanide and mercury and all those chemicals they use for processing the gold. So it will become unattractive business. And then when we do that, I expect also that, you see, it's a multifaceted problem. So we should solve it from different angles. So I also expect that the presidency or the government should be creating jobs. We should create jobs. We cannot leave our boys and girls on the street and say they will not go into, because they will die anyway. So they will just go in there and die. So let's create industries. Let's create a lot of agro-based industries in our country so that we can absorb them into these employment positions. I was even asking a friend that why will government not just say, look, we are going to double the size of our army, and we recruit these artisans and etc. to join the army. We train them, then they will build a lot of public infrastructure, roads and etc. Go to Burkina Faso and see they are building it themselves. They are not using these contractors who charges exorbitant prices. So use the army, and if they are given build it within 2 days, they will build it 2 days. And they say it must be of this quality, it will be of that quality. So I think we should start thinking outside the box. But the bottom line is that we should take those ladies and gentlemen out of that type of employment. Give them better livelihood. Kirsten, if you look at the type of work they are doing, I think it's very risky and dirty. If you see their bodies, they soak themselves in the soil and some of them die, etc. So give them alternatives. Let's create state farms, let's do businesses, let's do agro-based, this road construction. Let's recruit a lot of them into the construction industry. Give them some livelihood so that they don't need to go into the forest. Then when we station soldiers there, as the presidency is saying, that they are going to station soldiers so to protect those, and then I think we may be winning the fight earlier than expected. I must repeat, if we keep doing the same thing, we should not expect a different results.
Yeah, you keep getting the same results.
Yeah.
So I want to go into something else in a part two, not on this one, but to wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
You know, I want you to, I think that's your camera, eh? What's this camera? I want you to directly to people in charge. What are the 3 things we need to do in Ghana to win this recovery thing? How do we recover the loot? How do we prosecute? What are the 3 main things in your view that should be done in Ghana?
1, the legal framework must change, such that it makes it easy to punish wrongdoing. 2, institutional arrangement. Like I said, we must change the courts from sitting only 5 hours, 3 hours in a day. They should run 24/7. The 24-hour economy should go to the court. 3, we should put systems in place not to respect people. There should be consequences for misbehavior. If anybody who crosses the red line will be shot, we should shoot. Otherwise, we are not serious. We cannot make a law and give exemptions to almost everybody because you know someone. No, that must stop. And if you allow me to add another one,
please go ahead.
Your Excellency, the fight starts from the top. It storms at the top and rises at the bottom. Hold the big men accountable, and the small men will change immediately. Once they see the big man, that's why when I was Auditor General, I was not interested in headmasters and etc. I was interested in the directors, chief directors, and ministers. Because when you see the Minister of Education running, who are you a headmaster to stand? So it starts at the top, and then it will trickle down, and we will have a better society. Thank you.